We do things a little differently in this town. Hey guys, Mark here. Today I'm having a look at another Black Series figure. This one is the Deluxe Cobb Vanth. And he's a pretty nice figure. This came out about, I want to say about a year ago. First showed up in Asia and Australia and Europe, and then about 6 months later it finally got to America, and people were waiting for this thing. And when it got here, it had mixed reviews because people liked it, but they wanted more out of it because it was a deluxe figure with, a higher price point, but it didn't come with like the translucent flame effects for the gauntlet or for the jetpack booster, flame effects, or for the missile flame effects for the missile on his backpack. So it didn't come with those, and people were kind of mad. And then supposedly the higher price point was because, it had more paint apps, but then people were also complaining that it was missing paint apps. And I think all those concerns were valid, but having it in hand, I think it's a really nice figure. It's the actor Timothy Olyphant. That's his face. Looks pretty good. Here's the side art anyway, the Galaxy side art, which I really like. It's nice. And on the back, it's just the bio if you want to pause it and read it. Basically the same picture over here with Timothy on there, number 18 in the line. Well, let's get this guy open and see what's inside. Be right back. Let's go. Here's Timothy Olyphant as Marshall Cobb Vanth. I think it's a pretty good likeness to Timothy. Looks good. He's a good actor. He's been in several movies. I particularly liked him in the Deadwood show. He was really good in Deadwood. But I think it's pretty good. Some people were complaining before when this came out about a year ago that his beard was a little too thick. And if you look at the pictures of it, it was a little bit thinner. But I think the way they did it, it looks really good. Nice fade in his hair. The wash they gave gave out pretty nice details. And I think it's a good likeness of him. Really does look like him. On his as far as articulation goes, he's got on his trigger finger it's supposed to be a vertical hinge, but mine is so tight. And then a horizontal hinge on the right one, it's even tighter, barely moves. And it's got the little thing on here where you could attach the if it came with the gauntlet translucent fire effect, you could plug it right in on there. But that thing I noticed it because it sticks out on the end, it hinders articulation. One thing I wanted to mention about this that I don't think anybody else has really mentioned about, if this is Boba Fett's armor, and you can see how it fits on him, it's kind of ill-fitting look. Well, that's exactly how it looked on him in the show. So that's accurate. But one thing I noticed that a lot of people don't really talk about is they say, oh, the weathering and the paint on this. Yeah, I mean, definitely it's different because it's all silver like the paint's gone. But I believe the reason for that was because when he went into the Sarlacc pit, his armor looked, completely, was pretty clean, had some dents and scratches on it, but it did not look like this. And I believe the Sarlacc monster's acid is what wore this down. And because this is Durasteel Beskar armor, it was able to withstand like the acid from the Sarlacc monster. If you looked at the show, like the Boba Fett show, when it showed him, Book of Boba Fett, when he was climbing out of the Sarlacc monster in the pit, there was like stormtrooper armor in there, and it was all corroded away. Well, that's because it's not, wasn't as strong as the Durasteel. So I believe that's why it looks like that. Some people just call it weathering, but I believe that the paint's stripped away because of the acid from the Sarlacc monster. But it's pretty cool. It's got nice details on the gauntlets. It's got the hoses. The hoses run up a little higher than in Boba Fett's costume, in his regular costume, so they go all the way back up here. It's got butterfly joints. My copy's really tight, so it's kind of hinders it a little bit. But it does, oddly enough, it has thigh cuts at the thighs, but it's also got barbell hips, which is like what they're going back to doing now. And this is a figure that's a year old, so it actually had barbell hips and back then, which is kind of surprising. And it's got some decent paint details. It's missing some paint, like a lot of people complained. It's missing the silver from the cartridges that are on his belt here. And there's some little, you know, places where, like on the pants, there's buttons and stuff where you know, snaps where it should have had some paint detail, and there's no paint. And on the back here, it's no paint at all on the back when it should have some paint. So people complained about that a little bit. This is where his jetpack plugs in. But it's nice. I think it's a really nice figure. But you know, and so it's got okay articulation, not bad, and I like the likeness to him. Okay, now here's the jetpack, and this jetpack is basically the same jetpack, but it's got a little bit different paint apps, and you can see the silver that runs across there. That's from the patch where originally this is, you know, Boba Fett's old jetpack. It was damaged and it's been repaired. That's why the silver is there like that. And the missile does come off. And it's a different missile. The original missile was a little longer. For some reason, they gave us a shorter one. But whatever. And these articulate the thrusters. Other than that, it's basically the same jetpack, a little bit different paint. And he comes with this long rifle, which has, you know, a little bit of paint on it. It's got the wraps on the grip and on the barrel. And it has nice detail, but it's hard to pick up on camera. You can sort of see it. There you go. It picks it up, but it would have been nice if it had a wash on it. But it's a nice weapon. It looks good. If you put a wash on it, it'll look perfect. And then his helmet, of course. And see, the helmet has a lot of the paint taken off too from the acid as well. It's a way more scratched up and, you know, mangled looking. And the rangefinder articulates, which is nice. So just a quick look at here's how it goes on his head. So there you go. Yep, it's a little loose, but not bad. But yeah, he looks funny because this is Boba Fett's armor and it's kind of ill-fitting on him. But that's about right. That's how it looked in the show. Yep, and it's got the little handkerchief here that kind of you can rotate around if you want, put it however you want on him. That's kind of nice. And then lastly, just on here is his little pistol. But once again, it's unpainted, and a lot of people had gripes about that. But whatever, it's, you know, that's what it is. Oh, yeah, one more thing, too, and they were saying about the missiles, how the missiles on the leg missiles were unpainted as well. So, but it's not bad. One kind of cool thing is that it's on the articulation here, on the knees, they do have a nice pivot on the rotation. It's almost like boot cut swivel. It's not boot cut swivel. It's actually at the knees, just that where the joint rotates. So that's kind of cool, but it does go all the way around. And, you know, ankle detents, rockers. Not bad. Single cut arms. Get up okay. Like I said, he's got butterfly joints, but it's a little tight. On the side here, here's the mythosaur looking on his pauldron, his shoulder pad, but it's a little bit bigger. It's in Boba's, it was a little smaller looking. People said the same thing about the Tampo here on the Fett logo up here, that it's a little higher up, but whatever, it's no big deal. But I think it's a good figure. It's a nice figure. Well, that'll probably about do it for this one, guys. If you stuck around and watched this, I really appreciate it. Thanks for taking the time to check out my videos on my channel. I really do appreciate it. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. And share it out if you feel like sharing it out. That's always appreciated, too, as well. I greatly appreciate that. Comments are always welcome, and I do my best to get back to everybody that takes the time to comment. And I do appreciate them greatly. And if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. It really does help out my little channel, and my little channel could always use your help. Thanks, and I appreciate everybody who does take the time to subscribe. Well, we'll catch you on the next one, guys. Take care, and we'll see you next time around. Bye-bye for now.